Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at an MHS hilt that I did for a client. He calls this one the Revan Reborn. It is inspired by or not Darth Revan's, but it's inspired by Revan's hilt when he had a green lightsaber. I did see a reference photo and I can kind of see the similarities, but it is a little bit hard to see like the grip section. But I mean, regardless, this is a really nice hilt. I like it a lot, and I don't know, the colors just they look really good. So let's go ahead and talk about the hilt and what I had to do to it. I didn't really have to do much. I just kind of cleaned up the threads up here and greased them up like here and here. If the client ever wants to, he doesn't really ever have to unscrew it from here, but if he wants to, he can. And he, of course, to remove the chassis, the best way to do it is to do it from the pommel. Now, it is a three-part chassis system. There's a spacer, the actual chassis itself that goes from around here to here, because of the customer's request. It could have gone longer, but that was the customer's request, so I went ahead and did that for him. And there is I guess you can say another chassis up here that holds the stock six rail chassis PCB set, the NeoPixel connector, and the it doesn't hold the switches. The switches are mounted onto the hilt, but it does have room for the wires to go through, of course. Now, the switches I glued them on here. They did have like the backing for them, so that you can just kind of mount them on there from the back and screw it on there so that they're secure. But I was having trouble with the with the screw or with the threads. So I just went ahead and put E6000 on it. Message to the client that it's never gonna fall out unless you're actively trying to get this removed for whatever reason. But let's go ahead and show you guys the hilt to show you how everything is set up. So I'm gonna show you guys the top section first. There is quite a few threads here. So put that down carefully. Okay, so here's the top section. You got your stock male side for the 6-row PCB set. I do put this on the emitter side just about every chance that I get, which is pretty much all the time, so that since the chassis is what's being removed, um, a lot, you don't want to tap like those pins with the inside of your hilt by accident. So let's go ahead and get this screwed back on there. All right. Now I'll show you guys the pommel and the spacer, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the chassis. So here is the pommel along with let me just put that down carefully. The spacer, I did have to make the spacer longer because like I mentioned, the customer did want the chassis to end at about here. So the spacer just sits up against the lip of the speaker. That way it's nice and enclosed and everything just comes out of the pommel here. And it is a really loud saber. Like the resonance is crazy in this thing. Um, oh yeah, and it is also glued in there, so you don't have to worry about this ever trying to come apart or anything like that. This is just going to constantly live in the hilt. Now, to remove the chassis, it is really simple. You just kind of hold it facing down, shake it around gently. You don't have to do it hard or anything, and the chassis will come right out. Let's go ahead and put this back down. All right. Okay, let's get this to focus. Okay, cool. So this is the design that I came up with. Um, I did try to put quite a few blinkies on here. There's a accent strip that sits on top of the board. You can't see it because I do have a white diffusion film over the board cover, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But that way it's not really blinding whenever it is on, and you don't see the actual strip itself. Uh, you do have a pixel for each of these, and it is a dual crystal chamber. You can't see it too well right now either because the crystals aren't on, but it is a dual crystal chamber with the pixel on each side. And you also have two other strips, accent strips, in this section. One right below this thicker part, and another one right here. And same thing as the board cover, there is a white diffusion film so that you don't see the strips themselves, you don't see the wires, and same thing so that it looks a little bit better with the diffusion and it's not really as blinding whenever you're looking at the chassis because they are pretty bright. Um, but other than that, you got your stock female side for the PCB connector. You got a 28 millimeter speaker. I wanted to go with 24, but the client did want 28, so we went ahead and did that. And I don't know if you can see that, but it is sealed off so that all the sound can try to come out of the front side. And that's how I did it on both sides. Try to kind of seal off the exposed edges there. Um, there is room for a removable 18650 battery, and this board cover is held on there by some this battery cover is held on there by some magnets. There's also your Profi board underneath. Get this board cover off, and as you can see, the accent strip there. You can see kind of a mess of wires there. It's not really that it's a mess, it's just that there's a lot of accent pixels and things coming out of this end. So, unfortunately, it is the nature of this hilt, but that's why I made the board cover. And as you can see, the diffusion film is just kind of glued on there, so it's not going to go anywhere. Um, and the board cover is also held in by magnets. So we'll just go ahead and put that back on there. Oh, there we go. So let's go ahead and just do a quick 360 of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop a battery in this so you guys can see all the blinkies. Now, top side is your positive, bottom is your negative. So the button top is always going to go on top. Go ahead and put your battery cover back on. Flip the kill switch. It is a very long boot up.
What about a tall, strong, brave man like me? Thank God.
There you can see the little animations. You can see some of the shine through these little pipings there. And you can see how much it lights up. It's a really cool looking. I don't know. I mean, I probably shouldn't say that because it's my chassis, right? But I think it looks super cool. So let's go ahead and turn it on. It does have twist on. Now, this is, well, in my opinion, this is already pretty loud. But I also don't really like my sabers to be ear screeching really loud. But a message to the customer is that I can turn this up a little louder if you would like. It gets a lot louder when it's in the hilt. So you see there, the animation kind of just starts speeding up on the chassis. And it does have twist off. Now to put it into the hilt, it is just as easy as taking it out. So you just go ahead and slide it in. Now when it gets at about here and you don't have any more room to like kind of push it in, normally I'd say that you can push it by the lip of the speaker, but it's not required for this hilt. You can kind of just shimmy it in there gently. Of course, you don't want to like slam the pins, and you'll see that it kind of is already in there. Once it passes the lip, you can just screw on your, my apologies, you could just screw on the pommel and you'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and screw it on. Now this does take a 1-inch diameter blade, but since my test blade is a 7/8 inch blade, I'm gonna go ahead and just use my 1-inch blade adapter. So I'll go ahead and insert that in there and insert my blade. A message to the customer. This thumb screw is kind of like it's not one piece. The hex screw inside goes through the thumb screw and the hilt itself. So these are two separate parts. The thumb screw or the head, and the actual hex key or hex screw. So what I can do, if you would like, I can just epoxy these together. That way, it works as a regular knurl head screw. So just let me know if that's something that you would like me to do, and I'll go ahead and happily do that for you. Now I'm gonna turn on the hilt. This is your power, and this is your aux. Let me think if there's anything that I'm overlooking. I don't think so. Okay, so it does have swing on, so I'll go ahead and do swing on. I will put the hilt down after I turn it on, so you guys can get that aesthetic that I always like to do. So let's go ahead and turn it on. These are all fonts that the client sent me, so I don't know the names of them, but I'm pretty sure this one's called Keanu Revan. Put it down there. Try to get it not to move. One second, I'm trying to get this to focus. There we go. All right. Let's move on to the next font.
Heart of the Guardian.
Okay, that one's obviously called Heart of the Guardian. Like I said, this is like a really big hilt. Like I can't, keep it all in frame, because if I do, I'm gonna hit like my components and stuff. I have them like right there, so I'm gonna hit them. But it's really nice hilt. Like, look at that. It's fucking awesome. Ha, ha. Like that's so cool. Oh, okay. Well, I did it. I hit it. I can't do installs no more. All right. Nah, I'm just kidding. Okay, so that's Heart of the Guardian. And the customer did request for only the first 3 fonts to have like a specific color. The rest he kind of just told me to, ball out and do my own thing. So I kind of went ahead and did that. But, I didn't go like crazy and add, silly looking colors or anything like that. Because I know that he likes his hilts to be like kind of inspired by what they are. So this is like Knights of the Old Republic and things like that. So that's kind of what I was trying to go for, like with the colors of the and blade styles. So let's go ahead and move on to the next font.
I fear nothing, least of all you.
I don't know what this one's called. But man, like this blue like looks so cool. I think the blue, the brown, the gold accents, like the silver, this looks like super class. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I know it's not. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this loves how this looks. And if you don't, you're wrong. Oh man, I can't set this up. That's what I get for talking shit. Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. Like, look at that. That looks so good. Man. That's crazy. And then that slow retraction.
Everything's gonna be alright, kid.
This one I believe is called Redemption. Go ahead and move on to the next one.
Balan's Skull.
This is the Faithless, the Balin Skull sound font. Very nice, very bassy. next.
Revenge is not the Jedi way.
I am no Jedi.
This sound font is like top tier. It sounds really good. The hum is, or the swing sound is so good. Put that down. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Now, if you just want to see how the chassis looks, of course, you just unscrew the pommel and remove it, and you can just turn it on with the twist on. Sorry about that. It does have a lot of threads. Slide it out carefully. You don't want it to slide completely out of the hilt and fall to the floor. Like here, you guys will hear how the resonance really kicks it into high gear. Slide it in a little bit. Alright, you can already hear how loud it sounds.
Knights of the Old Republic.
I really like the sound font. That chanting in the background, so cool.
Revan.
Oh, I cannot get this to stand up anymore. Don't tell my girl that though. Nah, I'm kidding. Okay, look at that. That looks so cool. Oh, turned it on by accident.
Greed can be a powerful ally.
This is similar to the other sound font. Sounds pretty cool.
I am Bastila Shan.
Oh, I got it on the first try. That was good. Alright, nice. Super cool sound font.
you 1,000 worlds and 10,000 lifetimes until I find you.
And we're back at the beginning.
Heart of the Guardian.
Oh, I meant to turn it on.
Tell them. Tell them all. Whoever comes, whoever it is, I'll kill them. I'll kill them all.
Oh, and to the client, if you do want to go back on a sound font, just like how I just did, you point the hilt down and press the aux button. Like if you go over a sound font that you actually wanted to turn on, so that's what you would have to do. So let's go ahead and just remove the blade. Now to remove the blade, of course, whenever you do it, just pull straight out, never twist and pull, because you can mess up the pins in there. So go ahead and remove it. Unscrew the pommel. All right. Put this down carefully. I don't want to drop it on there. All right, so I'm going to put this here on the side. Okay, guys, well, I think for the most part, that's about it. I went ahead and talked about the chassis, showed the blade styles, just making a checklist in my mind. So I'll likely, instead of ending the video off with the saber on, I'm probably gonna leave it with the chassis here on the side. I really like how this chassis came out. I'm like super proud of it. And it was a really, really straightforward install, if I'm being quite honest. For anyone that actually even wants this chassis, so long as you have like so long as your build is set up so that you need a PCB connector for like the removable chassis on top, and you have the space for it. This chassis is around 165 millimeters long, around there, give or take. Let's say 165. Actually, let me see here. Might be a little bit longer than this. I have my measuring tape here. All right. So it is about, okay, about 6.25 inches. So yeah, about that long. Yeah, pretty much about that length. So if it's around that length, over 6.25, and 29 millimeters wide, like the inner diameter, then you have more than enough space for this chassis. So if it's something that anyone's interested in, even though it's not this particular hilt, maybe it's another MHS build or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I know Shapeways isn't a thing, but I still offer my chassis through Craft Cloud for anyone that is interested. Let's go ahead and end it with this side. This side's super cool looking. So, as always, just need to make sure that there's nothing else I need to talk about. Oh yeah, let me just show you guys how to remove the battery. I'll just pop it back in right after. So of course you flip off your kill switch, and you get the flat end of something. I'm using these coated tweezers, and just kind of pry it out. You don't have to do it that hard or anything, and it just pops right out. Let's go ahead and put it back in, turn it back on, so we can end the video.
What's so special about these swords? What do they do? Depends. On what?
Who uses them?
What about a tall, strong, brave man like me?
Big cut.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for those of you that watched the video, and Thank you so much for the continued support, guys. I know I'm not pumping out things as often as I used to, but I'm still here. Slowly coming back into the hobby. So I hope you guys see that. But again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. This was a really fun build. Thank you to the client for giving me the opportunity to work on your hilt. And I hope y'all enjoyed and have a good day. Catch y'all later.